Hey, Jimbo, you ready for this deal?
Road trip.
Road trip? That's appropriate.
Yeah.
Old stories like long lost friends, rodeos and late night bends, history before our time, round pens and pasture rides, cowboys of the Osage.
Howdy, friends and neighbors. Time once again for the Cowboys of the Osage podcast with your host, Jimbo Snively and Cody Garnett. Now let's sing a little bit about it. Cowboys of the Osage, riding once again. Always got some time for a friend. And here they are, the Cowboys of the Osage.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Cowboys of the Osage podcast, brought to you by the Ben Johnson Cowboy Museum, the Buck and Flamingo Turquoise Shop, Saucy Calf Native American Food, Ben Johnson Days, I'll just throw that in. Ben Johnson Days, held Father's Day weekend every year. All located right here in historic downtown Pawhuska, Oklahoma. Hey, it's old Cody over here, and as always, I have my main man with me, Mr. Rodeo Historian himself, Jimbo Snively. Good morning, Jimbo. Who do we have here today?
Hey, Cody boy, it's another great day in Osage, man. And Cody, we've got the White family from Elko, Nevada, and it's a great story. If you haven't heard about it already, you will before it's over with. You can find them on lnlmanquest.com and read all about it. But they're a couple of years ago, they took off from California and they're heading to the Atlantic Ocean. And they've been 2 years on this quest so far, and they made it as far as Pawhuska, Oklahoma. We're really proud that they're here. But we've got the mother, Terra, the father, Joshua,
Hi.
and Lucas and Levi, their two boys. And it started out kind of, I think, as a homeschool project. And these boys left. They were just big old boys, and they're going to be men before they get to the East Coast. And I think that's kind of what it was all about. And guys, welcome to the Cowboys of the Osage podcast.
Thank you. What an honor. Yeah.
Well, whose idea was this? That's what I want to know.
I think it was probably mine. Craving, that Western life. My whole life, all I ever wanted to be was a cowboy.
Right.
And after COVID, things were kind of looking bleak for our family, just kind of a depression aura, I guess you'd call it. Mm-hmm. And we sat out for that enjoyment that we would get from touring the West. It was our idea to use the horses as an effort to slow down time. Terra and I missed some time with our kids, being aggressive in business, and really wanted to make up for that. So we got some horses, and we literally sat out on an Old West adventure.
Was everybody on board, or did you have to talk some of them into it?
We were pretty on board.
Yeah.
Terra, I can't imagine. I don't know very many women that would take off like that.
To be honest, they had to talk me into it just a tiny bit.
Right.
The hardest part was getting out the driveway. Once we were out the driveway, it was just so fun. We couldn't stop.
Did you sell what you had back there, or do you still got?
We put most of everything we own in my mother-in-law's garage. Sold, our trucks and things like that. We would just depreciate. And we literally haven't turned back. My whole perspective of life has changed. The power of the horse and the things we've seen have made me realize how hung on my possessions I was and how much I was measuring myself monetarily. I think one of the best gratifications of this is watching my sons measure themselves in miles. Like at first it was getting out of the driveway, and then when we made it outside of our city, we made it outside of our county, and then we made it outside of our state. I just watched the kids take these steps of, achievement. And then now they've gone 2,400 miles and 9 states. And, they're my heroes, the things that we've endured. there's lots of Western moments. That's what we call them. The boys have broke all their own horses. So we've gone through about 18 head of horses. Kids have been selling them along the way and making their way to travel. They help Terra and I stay out of our savings by doing that, by working. We have no problem. One of the objects was for Terra and I to teach our sons work ethic, along with those measuring themselves other than monetarily. And they've got it. I mean, they really have. They've stopped. They've knocked on the door. They've been roofers and maids and apple orchard pickers. We've shoed, 30, 40 horses. We've done whatever it takes. They're extremely humble, these kids. I would advise anybody that's having those thoughts in life, like they want to do a trip like this, to absolutely do it. Absolutely do it.
Wow. That's quite a story. So you took green horses to start with?
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly most of the beginning ones were out of a kill pin. They were just as cheap as we could get them.
Right.
And then it was quite eventful. We had a lot of accidents, and there was a big learning curve involved with this. We're the first packers in our family that I can remember. In the beginning, we ripped apart our grandpa's our old saddles and made pack saddles, and we sewed duffel bags together to make panniers and tied milk jugs together and whatever it took to get us going. And then one thing that's helped us out quite a bit is the old timers along the way. They'll look at some of our stuff and go, "Wow, that's cool. Can I have that? I'll trade you this," and get a real pack saddle and a real set of panniers. And now we almost look professional.
Right. You will be by the time you get to the East Coast.
Oh, yeah. We're giving tips to the Colorado outfitters on how to pack, so we were doing pretty good.
I got that old chuck wagon over there I got for sale, Jimbo. That would look good in there.
They're strange.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That'd be fun.
Now that we're bound to the roads, the East is private, and that's something that we've been dealing with. I'm really glad that we did this trip backwards, as far as like that pioneering measure. We went through the wilderness. The first whole year was a healing process for my family. I mean, we really sat out on this adventure real selfish. This was Terra and I's clinging to our boys, made quite a few mistakes in life, and was really wanting to fix them. I mean, I was burdened with my guilt of missing time with my kids. That's receding at every mile. My kids know who I am now. We spent 2 years straight doing what we love. Really proud of them. I truly am. I'm really proud of them. I watched them turn from these little game players, playing the video games, and "Hold on, Dad," they would tell me. And now they're literally my heroes every day, packing these horses, and they're really good with their weights and measures. They completely transferred their critical thinking ability. Like instead of, "Oh, Dad, what do I do?" I mean, they're running towards whatever fire is there. There's a confidence in them I don't think they'd find anywhere else.
And the beauty is they have to use their surroundings, whatever's in front of us at the time, to make whatever work. And to be able to just look around and take nothing and turn it into something, like horseshoeing. How do you guys do your horseshoeing? We can't carry around an anvil, right?
No, any rock or we use trees, whatever it could get, just to get it close enough. And then they'll wear them out too fast for you to be perfect anyway. Use rocks to beat rocks.
I've heard people use receiver hitches on the back of people's pickups.
We use random road graders. I just found it, whacked it. Or you get the fairgrounds really don't like it when you use the gate hole to bend the shoes out. They hate it. It beat out all their hitches or they open it.
Right.
I get in a lot of trouble.
Who scoped out the route, or are you just kind of playing it by ear as you go?
We're winging it. Well, not really winging it, but
That's Anna. She's the manager of the museum here.
every time we start to get a route, we're either 200 miles north or south of it, and it's never really worked out because some old timer would go, "Well, you don't need to go that way. You're going to die over there. Go this way."
Yeah.
We change our route so often, so fast, and if it gets cold, we go south, and if it gets hot, we go north. And so we just town to town to town. It makes our lives a lot easier.
Wherever the grass and water is, our lifeline.
You better start riding north hard, Jimbo.
That's,
Around
that's
here.
the plan.
These guys do all the navigation, all the money. This is literally their trip, and they're really good at it.
How have you been received by people as you on your travels?
Amazing. Everyone's just been so kind and so nice, and we've only had one bad person.
Yeah.
2,400 miles. I think
Not
that's
bad.
pretty good.
Pretty good average.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't bad. That ain't bad odds at all.
No.
You just ran into one old stinker.
I think it's the power of the horse. It really disarms people. We're blessed to have the horses that we have too. No biters or kickers anymore. So
Right.
they're receptive to the people.
Now, are you going to have to swap out horses as you go more, or you think you got what you need?
We're actually seeking 2 replacements. Not every horse is cut out for the travel. It's not just the actual physical exertion of the horse. There's a mental edge to it. The new surroundings. If he's going to prance down the road sideways, that's going to peel the weight off of him. Horses that have problem being tied or emotional, mothered up, they the consequence is the weight. So there's a couple here that our objective was never to hurt horses. Matter of fact, our number 1 golden rule is horses first. So, but we are seeking 2 replacements, maybe some mules this time.
Yeah.
We've had some mules. We miss our donkeys dearly. We had some donkeys with us that went over 1,000 miles, but
Thelma and Louise, they were good girls. Still are. They're waiting for us to pick them up.
Yeah, cool. You have any dogs on the trip?
Yeah, we got one, and his name's Pilot. He's a half-wolf hanging tree. And that dog, I've seen him run 45 miles an hour without stopping.
Now, did you bring him with you, or did you pick him up along the trail?
We picked him up just outside of California. From a puppy. He's been with us. This is
Wow.
all he knows.
Oh.
He thinks our bedrolls is our house.
Yep. And through the deserts, he rode on my saddle, but now
He
he
hates
takes his
that.
job very seriously. He keeps us all in line. He checks on the horses. He does more miles than we do.
Wow.
And never runs out of energy.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a great dog.
I saw him over at the camp.
Yeah.
It
Probably
didn't look like you
growled
want to
at
mess with their camp when they're not around.
no.
He probably growled at you, kind of mangy looking.
Yeah, yeah, probably. He's probably wondering what the heck's this guy walking up.
Right. Watch out, boys. Here comes some trouble.
And that's the best part about him. If he's off that leash, he'll be in your lap and just loving on you. But if he's on that leash, you don't go near him. Perfect dog.
He seems like a good one. Good looking dog too.
Thank you.
You guys try to stay on the highways or do you go off the trail? Or
No, we try and stay off the highways and take back roads, but the further east we've been going so far, we've been being necked down to the highways.
Right.
Otherwise, we'd probably be on a back road outside of Pawhuska right now.
Right. What made you want to come to Pawhuska?
Well, a lot of it's history. We knew that this was still cowboy country, big ranches, and I think we found out about this place in Kanab, Utah. A friend of ours, Jeff Johnson, his son was this way and told us, if we needed a spot to stop, we could. And we don't really need a spot to stop, but we found out that Pawhuska had this kind of history. Always wanted to see the steer tripping, and we got to watch one the other day. We've been debating on staying for the rodeo. Have to find some work or something, but we're looking forward to this area. Period.
Right.
We found beauty in every single region we rode through. I mean, Oklahoma, you guys have some sunsets that would rival anywhere.
Truly God's country. in
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
it is. And the grass here, I mean, if I would have had this grass in my youth, I probably wouldn't be so poor now.
Right.
Always having horses, you're spending a lot of money to feed them.
Right. Sure.
Because up in northeast Nevada, that's where we're from, Elko, Nevada. We have a blade of grass, and then maybe a mile down, there might be another blade of grass. So this is like heaven to us.
Right.
Any grass is $5 million,
That's quite the historic cowboy town, Elko, Nevada.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I love that cowboy poetry reunion they have every
cowboy
year.
poetry.
Yeah.
It used to be the cowboy capital of the world, as a matter of fact. There's a lot of buckaroos still there.
Yeah.
A lot of big ranches, the Wine Cup Gamble, and, those are just big ones, iconic ranches.
You said things got a little Western a few times. Can you share some of those with us?
Oh, yeah. Lucas actually has the best story because
Yeah.
he's involved in every one of them.
Yeah, pretty much.
He gets the broke horses.
Yeah, actually, I've been ran over, bucked off on a helicopter horse where the horse we don't even know what happened. We were just riding, and all of a sudden he just started spinning Mach 10 in a circle. He was spinning so fast that I was perfectly flat with the saddle horn hanging on to it. It was horrible. And then right outside of Ely, Nevada, an accident that happened to all of us that caused our horses to be in town before us was we got this horse named Danger about 3-4 days before.
That should have been a giveaway, right?
Yeah. No, his name wasn't Danger.
Oh, you named him.
Yeah.
His name was going to the kill pen. That's what it was before we got him.
Yeah, he's the next bucking horse, and we get him, and we packed him for like 2 days, and he did great. And he's a big old appendix, beautiful looking horse, and he looks kind of lanky on the rest of the horses, and on Danger he looks good.
What are you for?
So he goes, I'm gonna ride Danger, and he gets on, and he's riding along, and we meet these people just outside of Ely, Nevada, and they were
Goody Boot
amazing.
Ranch.
Yep. Really cool people. And then we could take a shortcut to the highway, and I guess they wanted to go get groceries or something, because we hit the highway and we're walking, and they drive by and honk since they saw us. Man, that horse was gone. They honked, and that horse went about 4 feet in the air and back down, and all 4 feet were seeing the sun. He got bucked off in the middle of the highway.
Rain broke.
The rain broke, he flew off, he got knocked out, and he lost a tooth.
Yeah.
And then that horse ran in between all of our horses and took our pack string, and he's stuck on. I was big enough to pull my horse off, but she jerked away from me. And do you get bucked off or you fall off?
Well, I smashed into you and jumped off and went over and...
Well, all the horses are going through Ely, Nevada by themselves with him stuck on them. He's knocked out. I'm in a car going 90 down the highway trying to catch him.
I'm trying to get Josh to come too. I'm kicking him, telling him his kids and the string and everything's gone. We have no car. And
We met everyone in town, though.
Yeah.
Right in the
Yeah.
gas station parking lot. We're like, whoa! I met the mayor, the museum curator. And that's when Danger got his name.
Danger for a reason.
And then right after that, we got our first real pack saddle. And I don't know why I put it on Danger. I still don't. I put it on, we're, like 5 miles out of Ely.
Yeah.
We're walking, and he goes to bucking again. And he throws our bags, crushes them, and snaps that pack saddle. So I take all the duct tape and mechanics wire I got and wire it back together, and away we go again. And we get to this big, giant box canyon. Big, beautiful, 200-foot cliff wall on each side. We're walking down it, and I don't know if a ghost farted or what, but Danger was gone again. And he went off, and he's bucking. You could hear it. It's like thunder. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. And he's going down it, and then you'd hear him stop, and then you'd hear the bags go thump, and then he'd be gone. So we're just walking behind him, picking up our stuff as we go. And we finally get up to him at the very end of this canyon. It's like 5-6 miles. And I walk up and scraped the sweat and walked, and he didn't buck again until Fort Supply, Oklahoma.
We hit his reset mileage.
Yeah.
Warranty
Over
went up.
something 1,000 miles. The odometer sends him back to the beginning.
You still got him, or you send him
Yeah.
back?
Yeah, we still got him.
He's one of our best horses.
Probably the only one that'll ever love him.
his reset button is done for now, so next year he'll reset about this time.
Yeah. He does it out of the middle of nowhere too, for no reason. He's the biggest, baddest horse we got, and he's scared of rocks.
We have a lot of video footage of all these things, but we've been saving them. In order for the boys to graduate this high school experience with us, they have to provide us with a book or a documentary. So every night the boys are extremely diligent with their journals, and it's been since the beginning. So it should be a very interesting story, all their emotions and their wrecks, but the videos, we're waiting to release them, try to save something for the book.
Right, right. Somebody might want to pick that up when it's all over with.
Yeah, we hope you do. I mean, there's a lot of moments in there, besides the Western ones, there's just a lot of emotional, spiritual moments.
Our spiritual family is 2,300 miles long now.
Sounds like a Netflix adventure to me, Cody. Yeah.
We found some faith on this. We weren't necessarily religious in the beginning, but we hit 80 miles of salt water. And I found my spiritual side when I was on my knees praying, Lord, don't let me be the man that kills his family on this adventure.
Right.
Please. We've had a few of those moments,
Yeah.
actually. And you start seeing all these, you start learning the definition of words, majesty, seeing in some of those Utah deserts. Just absolutely Grand Escalante. Went through there with all those wild flowers blooming. I've just never seen anything like it. Southern Utah and northern Arizona really changed me.
Yeah.
They did. I mentioned in the beginning about our family healing. And we never set out for notoriety. So in the very beginning of the trip, it was just literally us finding out who we were. And
We did the whole first year without cell phones, without internet. I mean, we went in the wilderness.
kind of like Jeremiah Johnson. I'm a lot like him. Like we spent a lot of time on the wilderness, hunting and fishing and just living off the land. 200 pounds of food for us was 14 days. So we would literally plan it like that. If a town was 30 miles apart, it didn't matter to us. We'd go out 7 days and then come 7 days back into it. Just finding those little pieces of history, finding those. This one's a big biology nut. He loves his animals, his insects, and things like that. So we spent a lot of time just educating him. And my wife and I were, I don't want to say we were on the rocks, but I mean, there was this animosity. You come home from work and you will hear, you're never home, how would you know? Things like that. And that was some of the stuff that we were healing. Right. I'll bet you now she's probably the opposite. What was I thinking?
I prayed for him to come home, and now I get him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every second. You know what? It's worth it. It's worth it. We had just lost ourselves, and we needed to be found again. We ran away together in high school, and our family just needed to be closer.
Right.
And this trip has done it.
Thank God for that healing process, because now, ever since the end of Colorado, it's private ground. And we're learning a whole new side of people, and like we've healed enough to enjoy and accept this word empathy. And there's a lot of humility involved in this. As we come east, we're getting into, at the end of every single night, we're only averaging about 15 to 20 miles a day. So at the end of every night, we're humbly requesting a place to stay. And that alone, I don't know how to explain it. Right. Like every single day I'm grateful. And I know my kids are. And I think that's probably that aura that you've seen with my boys. I think this is where this is coming from.
Fully surrender.
When you set out for this, like a trip like this, I want to be in the wilderness. I want to be alone. And the horse and those environments will start to teach you that happiness is best shared. And I really want to, if anything come out of this interview with y'all, I really would hope that there's a dad out there, father, grandfather, anybody that's knows this is the answer. That connection back to nature that the horse provides, or this Western lifestyle that we live, it's imperative. A lot of these kids aren't getting any of it. They're so far away from our food. There's more to our lifestyle than rodeo. Sure. It's the connection to the food. And the kids are too far gone from it. They're way too far from it. All these lessons I've been learning with this selfishness of my own sons. When we get done, Terra and I, we've really been talking. I'd love to take troubled youth on these rides. Like, I've seen the transformation it did for mine, and I can't wait to test the theory for others. I really am dedicated to it now. The power of the horse, amazing.
Right.
Amazing. I mean, I just got chills.
Yeah.
I love them. I love these horses. They're my best friends.
Right. Do you have a tent or something you set up at night, or?
We bedrolled it most of the time.
Yeah, just under the stars.
But this, I don't know, maybe you guys can help us. How do the Cowboys deal with this dew? I mean, every morning we got wet hair.
They were just tough. They were tough boogers back then,
Yeah.
I guess. Only thing I could figure.
Yeah, especially this time of year, you get some heavy dews. There was a heavy dew this morning.
Everything is wet. The canvas is 20 pounds heavier.
So we just did the bedrolls until we hit 6 days of rain up in the Sangre de Cristos. That nearly wiped us out. We had to build a huge bonfire. We had to dry everything out. We kept meaning to leave, and it just kept raining.
We were sleeping in the bear boxes up there during that. And if you don't know what a bear box is, it's just a bit smaller than this table, maybe the same width as the table, but it was very uncomfortable to sleep in. But hey.
Yeah, we made our
it was dry.
We make our cowboy tents, but our tarps had too many holes in them. So once we hit West Cliff, we did get, the single man tents. And we do throw those up, which is nice because your bugs are getting bigger. It's getting wetter. They're pretty nice.
Got any rattlesnakes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been wondering about snakes when they said they're just sleeping on their bedrolls on the ground every night.
Well, we were eating them until we met the Navajo. Yeah. And we found out that they're, the superstitions along their religion, it's bad juju to eat them. So now we just kind of let them go by, and those things you learn. Tell them about your crickets.
Oh, the Mormon crickets. So back in Nevada, we went through 80 miles of a Mormon cricket migration. And if you don't know what Mormon crickets are, they're a little black cricket about maybe yay long, about yay tall, and everywhere. They're an inch apart. They cover the entire ground, and they all migrate in one direction. They're cannibalistic too. So when we were first setting up our camps, we were killing them all in our camp, trying to kill them all and get them out of camp. But if you kill one, 4 crickets will come.
Eat the one.
And it took 3 sleepless nights of them crawling over our beds and her getting them stuck in her hair for us to create a diamond of dead crickets around our camp. And then they'll eat those dead crickets and go around our camp.
No kidding.
Cody, back in the 30s, my grandfather was rodeoing up in Montana, and he said the crickets were so bad they'd cross the highways and it'd make the highway dangerous. It'd be slick.
Yeah, they shut down the highways a lot.
And they sprayed the bar ditches to kill them, and said the stink was so bad you'd have to roll your windows up. That's before air conditioning.
Yeah.
And they'd have to roll the windows up to travel through those highways because it stinks so bad with dead crickets.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, they'll contaminate the water. They'll poison the water.
They were
Everything
really
there.
bad then. I hadn't heard much about them here the last few years. I didn't know if they'd
They're
still have
going
them.
again in
They're in our
actually
hometown right now, Elko.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
They'll eat a stack of hay in like 3 days.
Yeah. Wow.
That was a time where you were contemplating, what am I doing? What am I doing? I was trying to save my marriage, not lose it.
I was going to ask you, has anybody ever said, let's call old so-and-so who's got that stock trailer and have him just come get us? Let's go home.
I do it every day.
You guys ready to quit yet? You guys ready to quit yet? And they always say no.
I got a feeling when they get to the Atlantic Ocean, they're going to turn back around and ride back to the other coast again, Jimbo.
Well, I don't know.
I've been bringing that up. I wouldn't mind it, but I know that the boys have. Every day they've been seeing. I'm so proud of them that they sacrificed their driver's license and these kinds of things, and they're seeing these kids drive by in their big fancy trucks with the girl on their arm, stuff like that, and I see it in them. And that's one of the as a dad you're worrying, like, is this right for my sons and stuff? And I hope I haven't diminished them in like making them naive in that route. But
they'll catch up.
I think they will.
They
That's
have their
right.
whole lives to get to.
Her and I realized there was just this bleep in time.
Right.
It was actually freshman year rolling around
Right.
that really set my mind, at this with this guilt. My father-in-law was probably more. He was there more, than I was. I had to change that.
Yeah. Have you met any girls on the road?
Few of them, but none. I don't want to hurt them.
Telephone numbers or anything?
No,
Yeah.
no.
They ought to stick around to the old dance, Jay Cooker dance on Saturday
There
night.
you go,
Nope.
boys.
No, we gotta leave.
Yeah, that'd
We
be
got
fun. We're always open for a good time.
Heck yeah.
It's going to be a good one for sure.
So how many miles do you say you can travel average a day?
About 15 to 20.
Yeah.
We've been averaging about 20, but we have noticed that, like after the rains, example of the logistics of the horseback riding. So after the rain, you're encountering a lot of mud. Well, that's harder on the horses. So we noticed that between the humidity and the mud, that our top line was leaving the horse, the back line. And it's something we're constantly aware of. Like the sand. Sand takes out of the horses. So it's hard to, you don't want to get trapped in this, hey, I'm going to make 20 miles a day. If you do, you're going to be ridiculed at the next town the way your horses look. And for us, that's kind of, that's one of the scariest things about the trip is we would really hate for someone to see our horses and think that they weren't our top priority.
Right.
That's our main thing. Our horses. We wouldn't go very far without them.
Right.
We've actually sat. Take you 15 minutes to cause a problem on the withers. Take you a month to heal it. Matter of fact, we're dealing with one right now. That's just part of the logistics. We'll sit and wait. We might end up waiting for the rodeo just for him.
Yeah.
Because they have to stay our priority.
They're our family now. We're one big, weird spiritual family.
Weird herd.
They'll come sleep by us at night when we're all
I know
out.
you're going east instead of west, but do you feel a kinship to the pioneers that went west?
Yeah, I can't even explain
What they went through?
Yeah, grateful. I know they were grateful when they got there, or just there's a confidence that comes over on you that will make you ashamed of all the times you ever quit. And you'll be surprised, like there would be this little time that you didn't want to drill the hole out to tap the screw, something like that. Just all these little things start nagging at you, making you realize how much of a coward in life you were. At least for me, that's what it was. I've never felt so strong,
Right.
so pride.
We're machines.
Yeah, I really got down. I had characteristics that were bad for business: trusting, caring, and forgiving. And I just wasn't in my calling. My calling is taking my sons on a horseback trip across the country. I'm proud of myself for not accepting. There's a lot of people during like the end of COVID, they were taking their own lives. You know, the stock market was doing some crazy things. I had a friend do that. I'm going to go on an adventure. I'm going to change my surroundings. I'm going to change my scenery to what I know makes me complete. And for me, it was those being invited to do day work and hearing that wet grass, you know, as I'm long trotting across it, or just that admiration I had for these old cowboys that were up at 4:30 every single morning. I just wanted it. I had to have it. I took it. I went and took it. That's what I did. You will commit to everything in your life but you. And all these old timers have been verifying this for me. We're going to give, for instance, you're going to give all your health for wealth and all your wealth for health. Say the pursuit of a ranch. You're going to slave for that ranch, or use rodeo. You're going to be trying to rodeo, so you go accumulate a job so that you can have the truck, the trailer, the horses to rodeo. Then you have kids on top of that. Well, now you're not practicing. We're making this sacrifice, and I don't find that model doable for me. Right. I don't want to set my kids up for that failure either. This ownership, it's the circle, and there's life doesn't work that way. There's always ups and downs, and I don't want the kids to ever be held up by it. My sons will never be like me. They will, after this trip, everything's going to be easy, and they'll be content in life. They're not going to leave the job for more money because they understand what loyalty is. They learned it through this. Yeah.
Right.
What's the craziest things you guys cooked on the trail so far?
So that'd be the craziest thing we've cooked, besides a rattlesnake, would probably be the crawfish jambalaya we made on the Humboldt River. That was nasty. And then,
If you're talking
which
about
at the time, it was good.
yeah.
But now looking back,
And if you're talking about the craziest thing we've eaten, was probably the sheep guts.
yeah.
On the Navajo reservation.
It's a delicacy there, and it wasn't so great.
How was that?
It was
Acquired taste.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Right.
very interesting, and I bet it would have been better if they would have been sitting there going, this is good intestine. that heart's just nice and chewy. It was,
It's different.
What about when we were off on our mileage?
Oh, the beans.
Tell them about
those-
the beans.
mean.
We come from Ely, Nevada. We're going to Pioche, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we took the long way. It ended up being like 118 miles or something like that. And we didn't bring enough food. And we come down off this mountain, and we know we're low on everything. Low on water, low on food. And we meet this rancher, and he goes, hey, the town's like 15, 20 miles from here. I want to strangle that guy when I finally get service, and it was 50 miles away. I actually found out where he lived and everything, but later, and we make it that next night. We're out of water. We're out of food, and all we got left is this bag of beans, a can of vegetable oil, and some ham sauce. I don't even know how we got it. But we pour the beans in, we pour the oil in it. You can't cook beans like that.
Yeah.
And then we're out scraping the top of the dirt trying to get water.
The snow.
Pour it
I love
in
the
it.
snow.
And then one was like the world's hottest gusher. You'd bite into it and it'd shoot flaming hot oil at you. And then the next one would break your tooth out.
Like corn nuts,
It was
huh?
terrible. That was nasty.
We made it though. The next day we arrived into Pioche, and we were so wrapped up in our travel, and so like we've given up on time. Kind of like Indians in that way now. We're on Indian time. Huh?
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't realize that it's Thanksgiving. And we come into town, we got a hotel room, and we're trying to go to the store to go get a bunch of food, and nowhere's open. And thank
Thought it
goodness.
was abandoned.
Yeah, we thought the town was banned. What's going on here?
Yeah.
And we ended up the casino. There was a casino in that town, Pioche, Nevada, and they actually had a big buffet, and we got the whole Thanksgiving dinner.
The Overland Saloon, the whole community got together. It was really great. They welcomed us right in, and turned out to be a true blessing, didn't it?
Yeah.
Did you have any kind of Christmas on the road? You've been on the road twice, 2 Christmases,
Yeah.
is that right?
Yeah. The first Christmas we actually spent in Rainbow Canyon, Nevada, with an apple orchard rancher. He had some cattle too. And then the second winter we spent in West Cliff, Colorado, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, West Cliff, Colorado. And they've all been good. We do miss our family, back home. But thank God for, today's day with the cell phones and FaceTime and things like that. We're still able to see everybody. I write Old West letters to my nephews, kind of portraying myself as if I was in that time. And I've really been enjoying that. Tell them about all the Indians that I've encountered, but all in the Old West.
Right, right.
My long cursive. And
How long did you stay on the Navajo Nation?
2.5 months. I didn't want to leave. I really didn't. I loved it down there. I could see myself going back there. The kids thrived there.
Mm-hmm.
The people were so kind. I didn't even know this kind of kindness existed. I really didn't. It's in poverty. But
Roped a couple Mustangs, a few of them.
Yeah, got some with us still. Good horses,
Right.
but there's a lot of them. Kind of detrimenting the land down there. If anybody ever wanted to ride on that Navajo reservation, you're supposed to have a guide and a permit. And we've kind of been riding along the lines of better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And
You just do it.
there's a windmill every 12 to 16 miles. If you find grays, you won't find any water. And if you find water, you won't find any grays, though. So you got to sit and soak your horses. Then you'll go till you find grass, overnight on the grass, and then reach to the water the next day.
Tell them some of your stories on.
One of the reasons we spent so much time on the Navajo reservation is we got hired by a bunch of sheep herders to go herd some sheep, and they did all the weaving and stuff and made them big blankets.
Yeah.
And there's a reason the Navajo trail sheep are endangered. They are the dumbest sheep ever. And that was a very hard job. I thought it'd be a lot easier than it was.
Yeah.
Later found out it was, but we were doing it wrong.
Well, yeah.
Tell them the
sheep.
story about Fly.
The sheep was fun. And then,
Yeah, and then one of the horses we roped off the Navajo reservation is our horse Fly, and the way we got him is kind of interesting. So the day before Fly showed up, we met this Navajo man, Amos?
Yeah.
Amos Yazi, and he showed us this horse song that if you sing this song, a designated horse will come to you if you either lost a horse or you just need a horse. So he recorded that song for us, and he made a mistake and gave it to him.
we didn't.
Well,
we truthfully didn't believe him.
No, we didn't. But anyways, we get over to this camping spot, and he decides that morning that he's going to play that song. Well, like maybe 10, 15 minutes later, a whole herd of horses shows up. So we just cut it off because there's a lot of horses there. So we put that off, and all of the rest of the horses leave and everything, and there's just this one horse just standing there watching us, absolutely curious on what we're doing. So he stays there for like 2-3 hours that we took that morning to pack and get ready to go, did all of our school, and then we left and we had to go underneath an underpass to go under the highway. He followed us under there. We went 6 miles. He followed us through that 6 miles. And we didn't want this horse, so we found an underpass with a gate. We went under that underpass, closed the gate, and we were on the other side. Well, he's freaking out on the other side. Dang, trying to jump the fence. Well, a couple seconds later, he just dead runs straight down the road on the other side. And about 6 miles up, there was another gate. He ran 6 miles, went underneath that underpass, and came back to us. And then after that, we made it to a gas station. He was chasing other horses off of us from there, and then he's just basically been with us ever since.
Mm-hmm. That's why his name's Fly. He would never go away.
Did you?
Yeah.
Have you broke him to ride?
I've ridden him bareback quite a few times,
Yeah.
but he's such the perfect height for a pack horse. I want to let him ride him.
Yeah. There you go.
He's still a stud. We've got 2 studs with us.
Really?
Actually, he was blessed, and we kind of made the commitment that we'd try our hardest to put him in the Atlantic Ocean to represent Navajo Nation.
Wow.
Made a lot of good friends down there. I actually have Navajo brothers now. You know, you remember those old days of, oh, I got a Navajo, brother or something. I really do. I got a Ute grandma too.
Yep, we got adopted by the Utes. Wonderful people.
My proudest moment on this trip as a father, I'd like to share this with you. We come off the Navajo reservation with 12 head of horses and 2 donkeys. And I mean, we got studs fighting over the top of us.
Got mares in heat.
We rode into the Utes, and we just hit it off with this Ute family. And she was an elder. She ended up adopting us. So they brought these 4 chiefs from these 4 cardinal directions, and they had the eagle feathers and the drum, and they put all the paint all over our horses and donkeys. And right after we left there, we come into Cortez, and the cops, they didn't know what to think of us. They were like, what is this? And I got all this big jewelry on, the beads and all the turquoise all over me, and I got the red paint on me. I must have looked real funny. My son says, well, you guys want to buy a horse? And right then and there, we sold 3 horses. I was so proud to have all these horses, and it was the end of my, my Native American experience. It was so beautiful there.
West,
I
yeah.
loved it in the West. Colorado has changed. Mm-hmm. It's, it's not so open like you'd think. It's more mountain man country. It's changed. But we enjoyed the San Juan Mountains, the Rio Grande Mountains, hung out on that Rio Grande River and fish and watch these guys fly fish and just bail our horses out with that mountain music. We put bells on them at night. I mean, I was living it. I've been living the dream, just like Jeremiah Johnson.
Right.
I mean it. Except for I made friends with the Indians.
Did you guys ever have any encounters with some wildlife out there besides snakes?
Oh yeah, we've had bears, mountain lion, and then bobcat, and then surprisingly we had a whole herd of buck deer inside of our camp.
Mule deer.
Mule deer, yeah. But
We also came across a moose that had gotten wounded. It broke its leg or something. Before I could even unload the saddle, Lucas had already made a halter, and he was going to go ride this moose across country. I said, "No, what are you going to do when it grows its horns?" He said, "I'm going to have a chopper." And I go, "So what made you think of this?" What president was that? That was
Roosevelt. He rode a moose.
Yeah.
So I figured if he could do it, I could do it.
We talked him out of it.
Lucky.
Thank you, Lord.
We had a bear in camp, and startled us pretty good. The donkeys were extremely defensive.
protectors.
Like, I mean,
They were chasing it.
They had their ears back at that bear. He snorted a few times, but once we stood up and started yelling, he took off. We've seen black bear, brown bear, golden bear. The golden bear at the San Grady Cristos are real rare. I was really happy to see those. At 14,000 feet, the deer were so dead to horses and humans that they were almost dumb to us. I mean, he was telling you about the mule deer. They were all in velvet at dusk. Like I set the page for you, like the campfires there, and we do cowboy coffee. And she had just got it kind of lit, and it's like real misty. The clouds were over it, and those mule deer came between me and you, sniff our coffee pot, and then we smell him, our stud tied up, just smelling him all around. It was just so
And
spiritual.
we were just laying there in our bedrolls as they just came strolling through camp. It was,
The coolest part about that, though, was that a couple of them laid down next to the fire
yeah,
and just sat there for a while.
Wow.
It was like this real, like,
spiritual.
I think we've hit our stride or our peak with nature. I mean, we haven't hit an animal in 2 years as far as driving. I'm sure I've stepped on a few horny toads or bugs,
Right.
but we have ran anything over. We're not hitting the bugs in the windshield. We're not, there's this real slowed down connection. I see the dragonflies connected. I get a kick out of your ground squirrels.
The prairie dog.
I'm a nature buff, and I've just strengthened my theory that the wilderness was going to help us. It's not that we enjoy all the hardships that come with it, but I am grateful to endure them. Like, I'll never take for granted anything in my life again. I was a very vain man before this trip. I had no idea. God, I hate to sound myself so bad, but I mean, I was just a real putz. I just couldn't put it together, bang my head up against the wall. And I had this inclination that I could save myself with this. I just never knew it would be so painful.
Right.
You guys run across any big rivers you had to cross?
Colorado.
Yeah, the Colorado River right outside of Page,
Page,
Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was eventful. So we get this horse named Roadwork. He was given to us by an orphanage just outside of Hurricane, Utah. And they held him for us, and they trailered him to the pink coral sand dunes just outside of Big Water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big water.
Or Canal.
Right
Just
up-
outside
They've been to
Canal.
some majestic
Canal.
places, Jimbo.
Oh,
I mean, they're just naming them off left and right.
I know.
Lake Powell. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, we get him and we pack him for like 2-3 days and maybe 4.
This is his first time packing ever.
He's doing great. He only tried killing me twice. I was very happy. And we get to this bridge, and it's a big old giant expansion bridge, and there's these joints on it that move back. They move when there's cars drive on it and stuff. And all the other horses and donkeys walked over it just fine. Roadwork did not. He didn't like it. He sat back, and I'm preparing to walk back to him, and he like Supermans it, sparring as fast as he can. I burns my hand clean through, got real bad rope burn, and he starts running down this bridge by himself, knocking mirrors off cars. And he gets to one end, he sees another joint, turn around and did it the other way. And the worst part of that is traffic's not stopping, so there's fresh mirrors for him to knock off.
Yeah.
And he's just ding, 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 and then as he passes, the phones will come out recording it. Now we finally catch him. I'm like, oh, please stop.
There's people going, do it again, do it again.
So worried we were going to be in trouble. And the second we get on the other side of the bridge, the city council met us and they said, "Thank you for choosing Paige."
I
We were
think
like-
they thought it was like a planned gig or something, and it was totally not planned. What river was that we went over where we had to throw you in the river and then the
That's the,
donkeys floated away?
The
Rio Grande
That
River.
was Rio Grande.
I think that's
Tell
Rio
that
Grande,
story.
ain't it?
Huh?
Isn't it the Rio Grande? I don't remember.
Rio Grande, Rio Grande. I think it's the
Just
same.
depends on where you're at, for
Yeah.
where you're from, what dialect you use. Some is Rio Grande, some's the Rio Grande.
There we go. We covered everybody.
Maybe some people say Rio Grande. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
there's 3 or 4 different pronunciations.
See, it's a cowboy thing.
I think
The Grand down there.
Rio
probably.
Grande is Okie.
The Rio Grande, that's what we call it.
Yeah.
Probably all the way down through Texas is the Rio Grande.
Okay.
Okay.
If you're from
So tell 'em about
New
the
York,
track.
it's the Rio Grande.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we were on that river, but there's a, was that abandoned instead of railroad track?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were following this abandoned railroad track, and we saw on the map that there was a bridge up ahead, but we figured since it's abandoned, the bridge might have been covered with something so that the holes wouldn't like hurt animals or something.
Maybe a car could drive.
But no, we got up to this bridge, and the gaps are about yay long, and the only poles that were holding it were the ones holding the rail, so they were only about yay wide. Well, our horses are the most clumsiest creatures we've ever seen. They trip on rocks that aren't even there. And so we decided that we were either going to have to turn around or we were going to have to go through the river. And beneath bridges is normally the deepest spot, but we were going to turn around, but I did not want to backtrack. So I just walked right through the river, off my horse because I didn't know how deep it was and there were sharp rocks. But I just started walking through it with my pants and boots and stuff on, but backtracking sucks.
Yeah,
It
no.
is horrible. Like 5 miles if we go in and then we have to turn around, that's 10 miles wasted. So
So Lucas got across, and then we all started going, and we didn't realize that our bags on the donkeys, it was a little deep, and they started floating like a life jacket, and the donkeys' feet weren't touching the ground no more. And then they started going, so we had to pull the donkeys in, and so we do have to check and make sure, the depth, because they do turn into life jackets, our bags, which is a good thing, because everything stayed dry. But floating horses and donkeys
Not
is kind of hard.
Okay.
Every time I leave town, I always think about how did they do it back then when they ran across one of those mile-wide rivers, or
Patience.
they hit the Grand Canyon. Holy crap! You got to ride around that thing, or they
the
ride down
whole
in it and
rock.
they can't get out, and they got to ride back out of it and around it. I mean,
You're talking about the hole in the rock, and that
Yeah.
we were gonna go on that trail. And I'm talking the wagon road's this big. I don't even want to see the horse trail. And I'm sitting there, like he said, our horses trip walking through a prairie. I couldn't imagine on a 3-foot gap and then 400 foot down to death.
Right.
Not happening.
We're a little scared of heights.
I mean, you get down in the southeast, how'd they get through all those pine trees and, down there?
That wasn't nothing to the Rocky Mountains, though.
Yeah.
Game trails.
How'd they get over the Rocky Mountains?
Well,
They just had to
there's a
follow
few-
the animal trails.
There's a few passes, and they're named, that they followed.
Yeah.
I don't know who found those first passes. That was the
Native.
tough ones. Yeah, natives. Yeah.
All those, we use the game trails a lot. The logistics is, you're got to learn how to track, and you start seeing the footprints going a consistent direction on the cow trails or whatever. It's going to lead you to water. We're really good at
And
this.
patience. You must have patience. That's why you can't plan anything. That's why you can't have a schedule. Because you'll be riding, you'll come across something. You might have to move a tree. You might have to dig some rocks out of the road. You don't know. So patience, I think, and not letting that time go is how they did it. Just no sense of time.
You guys got a
Do you
board?
even know what day it is normally? I mean, or do you just lose track?
I don't even know
Yeah.
what day it is.
I try to watch for journals, but normally we have no idea.
Yeah, just no need to know.
There isn't. It's 1 foot in front of the other. When you
Yeah,
get there, you
right.
get there. You're either like the coach. You're either 2 weeks late or 2 weeks early, but it really doesn't matter.
Right.
People say, 2 years? Like that's a long time. I'm already bummed.
I know.
I'm already going, no, I don't want to stop. I found my calling.
Right.
I did. I love it. I love the horses and all these people I've been meeting. I've learned the word empathy. And I could tell you, like I love people, but I don't really like people in cars. Like that is the biggest fear I have. It's not the wildlife, it's not the environment, it's not the weather. I'll take the tornado any day over the car that speeds. Like they if you hold them up for 12 seconds, they want you dead. Like they're in such a hurry to get nowhere, to do nothing. And we try to stay on the dirt roads, but like he was telling you, the east to west roads a lot of times will only have north to south spouts off them, just like this one. So we could have went maybe 70 miles up and then start back on your grid, but then we would have had to miss Pawhuska, and that wasn't an option.
Yeah.
So we had to face this route. It's frustrating too. You get up, you're thirsty, and the water's on the other side of the fence, and it's
Even if it's a single wire electric fence, it's just right there.
everybody will tell you, oh, the rancher wouldn't care. Well, we don't know that.
Right.
And we're not going to trespass. I'm not going to taint what my sons have been doing, working so hard. And with these corporate ranches, I mean, I can't find the headquarters. You go past so many abandoned houses, and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to knock on the next door. Nobody's there. It's frustrating in there. It's a little fearful. Back in 1860, I would have no problem with water.
Right.
I think probably the biggest threat back then was probably natives.
Right.
The Indian American War.
Right.
But we don't have that anymore. Now we have
We have the
cars.
vehicle.
Right. It's going to get tougher as you go east, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. And we never expected it to be easy.
Right.
And we could probably downsize, go thinner, slim it down, less horses. But I think then we would lose our ability to authentically teach. We have a lot of people that are interested in this type of horseback travel. And through our experience, I could really clue you in on what's necessary and what's not, and help out with those logistics. And we love having everything there to show everybody. All those old hobbles,
Yeah.
the bells, the things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Simplicity
Right.
makes life easier.
Where are you going to cross the Mississippi River at? Do you have any idea yet?
Probably northern Arkansas. I haven't got a town picked out yet,
Right.
but it'll be down in Arkansas.
Yeah.
We want to do a ferry.
Yeah, we'll try that. Or
Cool.
ferry.
See if we got our sea legs, huh?
I'm not looking forward to it. I already know my horse is going to be stupid. He get into the bridge.
We thought about calling a college and seeing if they wanted to set up like an old-time reenactment where we actually, pull ourselves across the river.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
We thought about that. I don't know. Might be something to do too. We'll know when we get there what we're supposed to do.
Right.
But
Wow.
What about storms just out in the open? You guys get caught up in any bad lightning storm? What do you do? Just hope you don't get hit?
hunker down.
I've always wondered,
There's that faith thing again. So I've done a lot of research into this, tornadoes, and the hail is what we're the most afraid of. and all the old journals that the settlers did, they ran. I mean, that was literally their thing. They saw it, and they loaded their wagons, and they jammed as fast as the horses would go. During the daylight, I'm not afraid. And as a matter of fact, we kind of prefer the cooler weather. So we've been traveling knowing that those thunderstorms possibly could come. But
You just hope there's a ditch or a tree around or something.
you got to have faith. And I mean, literally the odds of you getting hit by that tornado, or you probably have a better chance of getting the lottery. You do. I met one old timer that said he got caught in one of those big hailstorms where the hail was like softball size. He ditched his saddle and he put the pad over the top of him. He was trying to get underneath the horse. He said the horse put his head between his legs and just kind of took him from the rear. But anytime it rained after that, that horse would run. So we're just keeping that, you know.
Cody, my Uncle Joe said one time up in Mondor that a hailstorm hit and they got caught out in it. They took their saddles off like you're talking. They got underneath the tree and said a deer would under the tree was hooking their horses and stuff. The deer took off for that tree too.
Yeah,
I believe it.
they know.
I do know one thing. When you see toads run here,
Yeah.
better start running to high ground. That's what that means.
And the
Yeah.
cattle lay down around,
Yeah.
I noticed.
Yeah. Wow. What have you boys learned? The biggest thing you've learned on this trip?
Patience.
Patience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
patience is one of the biggest ones. The horse, we've gotten, in the beginning, we were kind of away from the horse. We didn't know a whole lot about it, really never cared.
Right.
But now I know every issue all mine got. I know everything about them, ways to fix them.
Right. If they're feeling good or feeling bad or,
Yep.
yeah. You pay attention, don't you? You have to.
I can tell you what problem they've got, their
Yeah.
mental disorder.
They're really good, and they're getting well known for their Mustangs and their problem horses that they've been able to fix. And
Right.
they've helped quite a few people on this trip. They're kind of like the Mary Poppins of the horse world. I kind of get a kick out of it. We come into town, and then we'll meet somebody that's got an issue. We go there. We'll stay. We're not here for money either, by the way. We're just trade for food.
Yeah.
That's what we would spend our money on.
Right.
So we go there, and we do the horse, get our food, and then we leave. And there's somebody that's, able to use their horse.
Right.
In Crescent Valley, Nevada, we're riding along and you could see the window curtains moving and doors are open and slamming shut. And then a bunch of kids came out and we ended up doing a cowboy camp. A whole bunch of kids were too scared to ride their horses. And Lucas and I were the best idiots, so we swung on and rode all their horses. And next thing we know, we got like 15 kids riding with us through town. Brought the whole town to life. A bunch of kids had never met each other.
Yeah, we're
Now
the
they're best
outlaw
friends.
gang.
Yep.
Yeah.
We stopped by intentionally apartment complexes in the bigger cities, and I love seeing those kids smile.
That's an adrenaline rush.
I mean, I get this. I feel taller than any paycheck ever made me feel when I see those kids run out, and they think my sons are their heroes. They're
Right.
asking them all these questions and getting to see my sons have this prestige about them.
Do horse rides, and by the time we're done, they all end up in their cowboy hats.
Yep. Well, the kids run home. They come back out with their cowboy hats, and they're, sometimes they even put their guns. The boys were packing, and they really concentrated on their shooting and stuff in the West. But now that we've gotten over here, we're not trying to have any problems, or we don't have guns for people. We have
Sure.
them for a compound fracture with one of my horses.
Yeah.
I couldn't allow them to sit in pain. Or,
Right.
people ask us a lot too, if you endured bad people. We had some drug addicts in our camp once, but even they were kind. Like I'd say 99.99% of this world is kind. It's not like the news tells you.
Right.
It's not. Or maybe it's just the unfair way that we're meeting the world with our horses, our family, and our faith.
Right. You boys envision maybe ever taking a trip like this again, maybe with your kids or something?
A lot
Not this
shorter
big.
of one.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah,
shorter.
sure.
Across
A
Nevada.
mini version.
Mini version, yeah. This is it's different. I would
Right.
definitely do something like it, but not
Yeah,
this
not the
size.
whole thing. Yeah.
What about you said a while ago they were in Colorado in December. How the hell did you cross Colorado in December?
Well,
You know,
we had to winter, so we actually made it to Springfield, Colorado. We were just getting into the plains, and we had some horses we were waiting on, and we're getting 2 new horses. We're gonna send our horse and our donkeys back to Colorado. We met a real good family there, and well, your winters are different where it's windy. It was like. Well, it felt like it was -40 with wind.
We had a fire ban.
Yeah, and a big old fire ban, so you couldn't get warm. And the people showed up, and they go, "It's freezing out here. We're not letting you guys go." So we ended up when this winter was the first winter we actually wintered somewhere. And we spent was it like 2.5 months up in Colorado, and then we came back down.
Training horses for veterans and
That was awesome. I helped a bunch of veterans out, singer-songwriters, and
some ladies.
Yep. It's scary when you're training horses for. Not I don't want to say older, but
Careful.
they're older.
Ladies in their twilight have
Yeah.
the dream of riding.
getting a Mustang and riding a Mustang. So we had a bunch of ladies that
Yeah.
got Mustangs, and then we had to make sure they were safe for them to ride before we left.
Disney helped horses out quite a bit.
Yeah.
I met quite a few people go, "Oh yeah, you just walk out with a carrot and you can swing on right off into the sunset." No, I know personally. You give them a carrot and they'll bite your finger off.
Yep. So then after we did winter there for
A winter, we actually got to prepare, and we actually got most of our gear set back up to the best it could be. Most of our stuff got pretty chewed up that first from the beginning.
Rockies were pretty rough on us coming down. Coming down was rougher. So it was good for the horses to get that amount of rest and us too. So then we just picked up back in Springfield and headed this way.
All right. There's a lot of good rodeo grounds and sale barns and places you guys can probably camp out along the way.
You going through Arkansas?
Yeah.
I guess. You know you have to take your shoes off at the border when you in Arkansas, and then you put them back on when you leave on the other side.
Nope.
All right, we'll do it.
Arkansas fans will love that one.
Yeah. Yeah, they're still barefooted over
Yeah,
there.
right. Do y'all have a GoFundMe page?
The boys have one. My uncle insisted that the boys put one up. But like I was telling you, one of the objectives is that the boys learn work ethic. Nothing in life is handed to you, and big dreams like this only happen from hard work. And like I said, a guy gets to thinking that he, is entitled or something like that, he's going to lose out in life, and that wasn't an option for Lucas and Levi.
And we actually, while we were wintering in West Cliff, we met our real good friend Deb, and we found out she had an embroidery machine, and she's always wanted to sell t-shirts. So the boys actually set up a fundraiser, and they do have t-shirts available on their website for sale at llmanquest.com. So a little token. Yeah.
If we could find a couple more mounts, we would have some for sale, and that money would last us for the end of the trip.
Right.
Getting a little bit difficult to train though on the side of the road.
Yes,
huh?
it is.
I went from
Public
500
safety.
feet to the white line to 2 foot.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. at all.
Hopefully, somebody will hear. Some people will hear this podcast or see this podcast and maybe help you out along the way, or know when you're coming through, or whatever.
That'd be wonderful. Most of the
That'd be
people
awesome.
that listen to your podcast are our heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our kind of people, our kind
Right.
of family.
Right.
And we're just so grateful that you brought us to talk with us.
Yes.
I am.
Thank you, Pawhuska. Thank you. guys.
Thank you for so enlightening my sons.
You've enlightened us. I can't imagine having the courage to do what you're doing, but I applaud you for it.
Thank you.
I think it's great.
Let us know when you make it to all the way to the East Coast.
Oh, we will. We will.
And make sure all our guys that listen, follow them and see if they're coming close to your town. If you can help them out by putting them up or putting them to work for a couple of days.
It's lnlmanquest.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also find us on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, too.
Okay. Great. Cool story, Cody.
Yeah, I knew when they came to town the other day, and I was sorry I missed them because I was headed to a softball game. I saw them actually turn in to go to the fairgrounds, and I was surprised. I was at the fairgrounds last night getting ready for the roping. These boys come up with their canteens, filling their water canteens up, and I said, "You those guys riding across the country?" They're like, "Yes, sir, we are." good manners on them too.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked them if they'd do the podcast. They were actually thinking about leaving out this morning, so we got them just in time, Jimbo.
Right. We're glad we did.
Yep.
Yeah, thank God.
We get another day rest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna. They said they've been waking up a little wet in Oklahoma, but there's no drying off this time of year in Oklahoma. It just stays wet and sticky around here.
Just got a cowboy up.
We're
right.
acclimatizing, living out in it. You know, it's not that bad to us as you would think.
We did find one thing though. Eat some chili peppers. If you get too hot out there and you're sweating, eat some chili peppers. Get your body temperature real up, then you'll start cooling down.
Really?
No, it sounds crazy, but try it.
Just don't overheat yourself.
Lots of water.
Well, all right, we sure appreciate y'all coming on today and taking time out of your quest just to talk to us. We
Our
sure
pleasure.
appreciate it. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was.
So interesting. All right. Well, be sure and like, share, leave a comment. Be sure and follow these guys. Help them out if you can along the way. We got a lot of people
Yeah.
that listen to this, all the way through Arkansas and Tennessee and all those states they're going to be riding through. So keep an eye on their progress and how they're coming and invite them over to your house. They seem like good folks.
Absolutely.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank
Bless
you
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Good luck.
Thank you.
Dang nice meeting y'all.
You too.
Likewise.
These kids got good manners. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. Those are hard to come by these days. That's no doubt about it.
Real
All right.
men.
We'll see everybody next week.